Welcome to Horror News Radio for December 19th, 2022. Join us tonight for the best horror films of 2022. All right, well, it's time. Look at that hat! It's time.
Speaking of horror,
I'm not sure.
Wow. So this is what? How many? Is this our 9th or 10th best of? It's our 9th.
It's right over there. Do you see
9?
it?
This is 9.
Yeah.
9th best of. Wow. This year was insane. Maybe not as insane as last year, but insane in a better way. And it'll be interesting to find out what our top 10 horror films are, and each one of us will divulge our top 10. All right, before we get going, let me introduce the crew, starting off with Dave Dreher, lead news writer at GRUESOME Magazine. Dave, how you doing?
Hello. Hi, everybody. How is everyone? Is it too early to say Merry Christmas? I don't think it's too early to say Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
It's 6
Happy New
days,
Year.
right?
Happy holidays.
Like it's not
Yes.
too soon.
Yeah, it's not too soon.
It's like knocking at our door with a very cold fist.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't come out right, but you know what I mean.
Only
Also
in your
joining
mind.
us is Crystal Cleveland, the living dead girl. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm fabulous. This is like one of my favorite episodes for the year. I think this is the most fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I think because I love watching people's top 10. So I
Jeff,
hope
what are you
guys
trying to
all
do
like it, too.
exactly?
He's trying to make his hat. Does it just play music or do the ears move or something?
It does something, but I don't know why I can't find the switch disappeared.
You just there you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there
All
it
right.
goes. All right.
All right, joining us is Christopher G.
Where's it?
Mohr, award-winning filmmaker. Hey, Christopher.
I'm good. I could have done without seeing his little limp hat.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm doing well. I just want to say that our lists, despite what our lists say, all the films out there are like, you're all a star. You're all a star. Yeah, so they-
Ew.
except for a few of you.
That's not
You
true.
know
You
who
don't
are.
get a participation award. No.
I just did
You were
that
either
for the Pearl
good
bit.
or you were not
Oh,
good.
no.
I
I
haven't
just
seen
did it.
Pearl. I haven't seen Pearl.
Okay, get off the podcast. Get off the podcast.
Oh.
You know I don't like
You're
going
not-
to the theater.
You're not on my top 10 list now.
All right. Also joining us tonight is award-winning screenwriter Brian W. Smith. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm all ready for Halloween.
Yes, you are. Look at the shirt. The shirt you got it right
Three,
there.
as a matter of fact.
And
I
of
love
course,
that shirt.
of course, joining us is Jeff Mohr. He is the host of Decades of Horror, all the Decades of Horror podcasts. How you doing, Jeff?
Crystal's my favorite.
Aw, see? That's my man.
Take that,
That's the-
Christopher.
That's a fist bump right there.
I didn't
yeah.
say my top 10 list was favorites.
Oh man! All right. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to each of us list our top 10. We're going to tell you a little bit of why we chose the film, and then after that, the others will get to comment about the list, and then we'll go through all 6 of us, and then we'll celebrate. All right. Let's start off with Jeff Mohr. Jeff, sir, what is your top 10 list?
Well, I'm going to start with honorable mention very quickly. And all of these could have been on the top 10. I mean, I had a really tough time, but Deadstream was honorable mention. Found footage. I mean, oh, wow. That was a great movie. Terrifier 2. Lauren Lavera makes this one so much better than the original one. The Sadness from Taiwan, the biggest WTF movie of the year. Barbarian, which has a great misdirection. I spent the first half hour thinking we were going someplace else. Fresh, which I loved. I just loved Fresh. The Passenger from, I don't know where it's from, Spain or Denmark.
It's from
But
Spain.
You get
Spain or
this
Denmark?
buddy.
It's from Spain.
Well, it said Spain and Denmark on the credits. But anyway,
Spanish.
a buddy film with a tweener girl and a middle-aged guy.
Yes.
Don't go there. It's fun. Watcher with Micah Monroe. Takes place in Romania, I believe. And Saloum from Senegal. I love that one with the 3 mercenaries and the
Oh,
ghosts
wow,
and
yeah.
stuff. And I would love to have on the third day on this list from Argentina, but they just won't do the damn thing in Spanish. It just ruins it. All right, top 10. The Cursed, which I thought it has a great creature, some history, some cross-cultural stuff. Also includes Romanians, gypsies, travelers, however you want to read. And I think in there they refer to them as gypsies. Troll, which is awesome. I mean, now we have Norwegian kaiju, and I hope it's a franchise. I hope it takes off. I love it. Great. Goes against the stereotypes, I think. You know, the characters. I mean, is it a stereotypical general plot? Yes, but the characters go against stereotypes, against types in these types of movies. Prey, Amber Midthumber is awesome. The Black Phone, I don't know what to say about that except great acting, great writing, great source material. Nope, which was unpredictable as heck. I just like surprises like that. Satan's Slaves Communion from Indonesia, Joko Anwar and the family from Satan's Slaves, the original one, are back for more. Only this time, they're in a high-rise in the middle of nowhere. The Innocents, I can't get that one out of my mind. It just keeps resurfacing from Scandinavia. Kids with powers kind of living in their own worlds, doing battle with the adults being totally clueless. Moloch, which is an awesome movie from the Netherlands. It had a great folklore, great acting, and a bog. You got to love a bog and lots of fog, right?
Bogs and bogs.
And then I'm combining Pearl and X because you can watch them separately, but X takes on a whole different meaning if you've seen Pearl. So I love them, and Mia is so wonderful. She is unbelievable in those. So kudos to Ty West and Mia Goth. And my number one is the series Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Pushed all my buttons. That's all I can say.
Pushed all your buttons. I like that. That's a great list, Jeff. I love that you put Cabinet of Curiosities at the top. That was a good move. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know other what was it? There was some director online that said that like he could easily put episodes of that as his top 10.
Yes,
yeah. A couple of them, yeah, definitely. I like that you have a lot of the Gruesome Magazine reviews in here.
I think most of mine are all gruesome.
I'm sorry, Dave, but there's a lot of subtitles in there.
Yeah,
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that.
But they have a different way of looking at stuff, and it surprises me more often. I could have put the hatching in there too. I didn't.
Could be. All right. If that's all the comments, we'll move on to Brian W. Smith. Sir, give us your list.
Is he frozen?
Is he frozen or asleep?
I think he's frozen.
Oh my gosh, he's asleep.
He's asleep.
Oh, no.
All right.
Jeff, your picks bored him to death.
We'll move on. Crystal, take his place.
Okay, so I'm going to start from 10 to 1, and then I'll do my honorable mentions. Okay, so number 10, I don't care if I get guff over this. I love this movie. It's gory, it's gruesome, it's ridiculous, and it's Terrifier too. Yeah, I love it. Don't care. For you gruesome, gory lovers out there, you'll love it too. Number 9 is Sissy. Oh my gosh, this movie is so freaking hilarious and funny. If I think anyone that's on social media will enjoy this one. It's about an influencer. It's funny and it's a little shocking, and I love the ending. I mean, the ending is actually fabulous. Number 8 is Scare Package 2. So it's an anthology. It's not like the all the stories fit together really well, but it's really the wraparound story that I love the most. I really laughed. I had to pause it and laughed multiple times here, so that's a win for me. My 7 is On the Third Day, the Argentinian film. I didn't care about the lack of subtitles. The score is amazing. It's shot well. It's just a good movie. I think it's kind of one of those ones where they bring one of my favorite creatures into it. I didn't love the ending like some of you as well, but that didn't ruin it for me. Number 6 is The Passenger, the Spanish film.
Nice.
I Love The Passenger. I know it was a little weird for y'all because you couldn't understand the driver. You thought he was a little crass. And I'm like, I've dealt with that before. It just made sense to me. This is a subtitled one, so you may or may not like it. But the cinematography is beautiful. And it's got a whole like village is a damned kind of weird alien. I mean, it's got a lot going on, but it's very cohesive. Number 5. Is Run, Sweetheart, Run. I know y'all didn't like it, but to me, this is one of the best villains I've ever seen. He did an amazing job. Oh my God, it was like really crazy. It's a very, very strong feminist film, so it's not for everyone, but I think the acting was phenomenal. I think the cinematography was great. I think the story was wonderful. I love the whole thing. And I think this is a polarizing film. Either you're going to love it or you're not, and that's okay. You know, it's not for everyone. Number 4 is Deadstream.
Yay.
You guys know that this is one of my favorite films. I love this film. It's so independent and so funny, and I can't believe what they were able to pull off with so little. The acting, everything is great. It's wonderful. Like, I don't know that there's much. I don't know if there's anything really that I would change about this film. Number 3 is Troll. It's just awesome. I love kaiju films. If you don't, you're not gonna like this one. But it is it's really cool. It actually had little jump moments for me. I think the characters were so well developed and like you actually felt for them. That's kind of unusual. I think they did a better job at the character development than a lot of the Godzilla movies I've seen. So that's a beautiful thing. Number 2, which I know a lot of you don't like either, is Glorious. I loved it. Very simple. Takes place in a bathroom. It's weird. It has its ups and downs. I just think it kind of takes you on a trip, but I just think it was actually done really well. I think the acting is phenomenal. I love J.K. Simmons. Oh my God, I hope I'm getting that right. As the narrator, he was wonderful. I love the gore. It's like really bloody. Oh, give me like a big bloody scene and I'm pretty hooked. And my number 1 is The Sadness. Actually, I know Jeff had a lot of these. It's so It's a Taiwanese film, so it's subtitled as well. A few subtitles here. It's so gory, and I typically don't like zombie movies. However, this zombie movie got to me. The tear, it's wonderful, and I just love the way the whole story goes, and I love the end because it's one of those kind of endings for you. So that's my top 10. I have some honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, The Cursed. Obviously, Jeff talked about it. The Innocents, like I know he had it really high up on his list. That Norwegian film was so cute. The kids are adorable. Obviously, The Black Phone. I mean, Black Phone was just a really good film. I didn't put it in my top 10, and I think that's mainly because I just wanted to kind of put more into, a little bit more diversity. But I think that it's a very solid film. Something that a lot of people may not have, don't care. I really like Day Shift. Like, I like Jamie.
Nice.
I like Jamie Foxx, and this movie made me laugh a lot. Pinche Pool Boy, I'll never forget that. Okay, Hatching, Hatching is really cool. I mean, it's just a cool movie. This top 10 was the hardest I've ever done. Okay, so just know that some of these were very close, just a little far off. Mad God. It didn't make my top 10 only because I feel like it's just a movie on its own, in its own league. I mean, there's no dialogue. It kind of feels like an extended music video, but I think it is absolutely superb. I think Phil did an amazing job, and I know I basically think it's beautiful. It's sad. It's devastating. It's got some crazy imagery and A Wounded Fawn. I love that too.
Wounded Fawn.
That's it.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I know I had a lot, right?
All right. No, that's a great list. It's a great list.
Yeah. Thanks.
A lot of gruesome magazine reviews in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't.
Gotta love gruesome.
Yeah. Did you have any theatrical films in there?
I don't go to the theater.
I know.
So if it doesn't, if it doesn't come on streaming, yeah. Well, I watched Black phone when it came on streaming.
Yeah.
If Pearl and X were streaming, I would have watched those. Actually, I think I can rent them now because I do want to see them. I know that they're very good.
I'm really glad you put On the Third Day on there because
I love that film. It's so great. Yeah.
I need to revisit it. I need to revisit
And it's good to see the Passenger on your list too. That had some really masterful cinematography in that,
really
and some good gore too.
Yep. It was, and I love the end. Like, it's so crazy. Like, remember the dude and when he's at the bar, that ending shot was
oh, that was so good.
Yeah, that was really
very Twilight Zone type ending.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brian's with us, so we can jump back to him. You good with us? You good, sir? You good?
Yeah. Sorry, I turned off the wrong Wi-Fi.
Turned off the wrong Wi-Fi. All right. Well, that'll do it. Why don't you give us your top 10?
Sure. My top 10. My number 10 is I had to go with Werewolf by Night.
Nice.
I really like the production value, the score, the cinematography. I was won over by the trailer, the grindhousey sort of trailer. I watched that over and over. I thought the sound design and the acoustics at the setting were done really well. I watched it, for my headphones and everything. They got it pitch perfect, and I just thought the style overall was really cool. My number 9, which I just recently saw, was, I would say, The Menu. I like that it plays by its own weird rules. The cast is game for it. The stark style and the horrible characters, populating the story. It's a horror movie for entitled assholes, and for the rest of us, we can just sit back and laugh at it and laugh at them. The Black Phone is my number 8. It was an audience pleaser. I thought Ethan Hawke did a really good job. I thought the young cast was really good, especially Madeline McGraw. Overall, I think it definitely has the DNA of someone with the DNA of Stephen King. So it has that feeling to it.
Wonder why.
Number 7. Number 7 is Barbarian. This was fun in the theater. Some good suspense moments and what the fuck moments. Some frustrating character choices that could have been fixed on the script level, but I think it picks some of the really good moments of recent films that are particularly set in that particular setting, and does a really good job of giving you some fresh scares and sort of playing with your expectations as a moviegoer. Orphan First Kill is my number 6. Surprisingly entertaining prequel. I was not expecting to like it. I'm not a big fan of Esther, the character from the original. It was such a dour and just depressing thriller. It's sort of in the Good Son type of realm, but I feel like I just couldn't wait for her character to not be living anymore. That the fact that Orphan First Kill flips that and gives you a character that now you're just sort of rooting for her. And upon the twist, I was like, I want more of this. I wanted a series. I wanted to follow her misadventures of trying to figure her way out through the situation. So I thought Julia Stiles was great. So yeah, that was a nice little surprise, nice little twist that I like to watch over and over. I'd throw in Nope. And we're starting to get into the categories of films that had some sort of visual or some sort of visceral effect on me. Nope, I put on my list basically because of the eating scene. That was something I took home with me.
Wow.
And that was pretty interesting. It didn't necessarily deliver on the Nope moments that you would hope to see in a Jordan Peele film, and especially with that title. But I thought overall, I love the grand scale of it. I like to see what he's doing. I like to see him getting bigger and bigger, and who knows what he'll do next. It's something different, and it's a memorable creature. Number 4 is going to piss you guys off. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
I liked it too.
In terms of, I screen for various festivals and horror festivals, and I see a lot of stuff that's very suggestive. Is it horror? Is it going to be horror? This was a guy with a chainsaw making a mess out of everyone and it was fun. It was I described it as bloody, brutal, stupid, and mean.
Yep.
It delivered. It gave me some. There were some cool set pieces. I mean, there were stupid reasons for characters to be in certain situations, but when they're in those situations, I particularly like the ambulance sequence. I thought that was a nice little set piece, and it just pisses on. It kind of pisses on the franchise, but it's mean, and the ending is oddly satisfying. So yeah, I can throw it on anytime in the background and just know that it's going to be a dumb movie. Number 3, Scream 2022. This is the
nice.
top 3 is where I kind of struggled. I was going back and forth. But Scream 2022, I think it was a decent reboot. It was nice to see the original surviving cast. They all did fine. I think the killers revealed and their motives were a little wonky, but their comeuppance was very satisfying in the theater.
Yes.
The film overall, I think, lacked some of the set pieces from, like, say, some of the earlier Wes Craven films, especially Part 2. But, there were some moments that were pretty strong on the Wes Craven, that sort of tribute, I think. And I took home, like, especially that there's that 1, 2, 3 punch in the middle of at least, 3 key deaths that occurred within like a 20-30 minute time frame that I thought were very effective, especially the sheriff. Number 2, Terrifier 2. I got to throw it up there for. I have to throw it up there for indie horror. This movie the first one, love it or hate it. I didn't necessarily love the first one, but the second one I think improves in a lot of ways. It could be shorter. It definitely could be shorter and still be an effective horror film. You can keep the gore and keep the thrills and stuff, but I think there are moments where, Damien might get in his own way, and he can probably just trim it down a little. But overall, I have to say the death scenes were horrifying. You have a creepy, funny, brutal killer and Art the Clown. He's sort of a Freddy, Michael, and Ghostface as a mime. He just gives you those. There's more Nope moments in a Terrifier film, basically. And there were moments in that film that I just took home with me. The couple of death scenes that were just like I need to revisit those just to go through that trauma again and get over it.
Mom.
So
Yes.
and I got it. My list, of course, is a little mainstream, but number 1, I have to go with Smile.
Yeah.
Strong lead performance by Sosie Bacon, and good supporting cast overall. I think Caitlin Stassi, who was reprising her role from The Short, I think does a really great job of conveying fear of something that's not there. And it's just confident horror direction from Parker Finn. It's interesting to see the trajectory of I got the word trajectory of of him sort of moving up from the short world into the feature world, and he can pretty much do. I'm interested to see what he does next, because he has the world in the palm of his hands right now. My honorable mentions, I'll be quick. A Wounded Fawn, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's oddly similar to Fresh, which was it was hard to decide which one to go with, but I went with The Wounded Fawn because I really thought Sarah Lynn's performance stood out. I think she really conveyed a strong character who was sort of slowly becoming aware of the danger she was in, and really conveyed it in such a natural way. VHS 99, not overall for the film, but I just wanted to focus on the performance of Melanie Stone, who's also in Deadstream, but that's not on my list. But Melanie Stone, who played Mabel the Skullbiter, is a star. That was one of my favorite characters of this year. I don't necessarily know if they're going to ever franchise her out or anything like that, but that character, if you just see that one segment with her character, she's fascinating. She's amazing in that role, and great with makeup and just the physicality. I just saw this today, actually, just caught up. Slashback. Which I thought was cute. The acting is Goonies level, and it's a young cast.
Thank you.
The acting is Goonies level, so it's not great, but there are some very creepy, for a kid, for roughly a kid's horror film, in that sort of attack the block vein. I thought the threat, the sort of zombie aliens, I thought there were some moments that were very creepy and visually interesting. So I think I would throw it in there just for that, to maybe inspire writers to come up with more stuff like that. I did the double of Pearl and X, just from Mia Goth's performance. Didn't know it was her in X playing the 2 roles until I learned about it afterwards. So I thought that was pretty cool. But Pearl, she's just unhinged and fascinating, and it's a really interesting, a lot of really good, interesting roles, performances this year. I just saw this recently too. Hellbender.
Interesting.
We at New York City Horror are fans of the Addams Family. They're really talented filmmakers.
Not the Addams Family you think it is.
Not that Addams Family, right. They just keep getting snatched up by Shudder. No, it's okay. But yeah, Hellbender I thought was really interesting. I'm into this sort of the sort of pagan sort of stuff that's out there right now, and I thought they did a really convincing job of this sort of mother-daughter performance, obviously because they're mother-daughter, but
They actually are, yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. and I like the ending. I just saw it today. Also, Glorious.
Seen a lot of movies today.
Yeah. I've been mainlining all these movies that you sent me. Yeah, Glorious. I really like the style, the setting, and the cinematography. And I think it'd be interesting to see what Rebecca McKendry does next. I know her from like the podcast world, but seeing her direction, I thought it was really cool, and it was a good get to have J.K. Simmons and Ryan Quanten involved. So that's I think she's on her way up with whatever she does next. And my last honorable mention, Watcher. I've been a Chloe Okuno fan since her short Slut that played at New York City Horror years back. Been eager for her first feature. It took a while, so this is it, and I really appreciate it. I really liked it. I thought it had that Hitchcockian sort of quality to it, and Micah Monroe, being chased by a Steadicam, that's its own genre as far as I'm concerned.
I like that. Oh man,
that's a great list.
Texas Chainsaw.
Okay, so Hellbender, I really liked Hellbender too. I mean, it's kind of one of those movies. I think it's so weird that a lot of people just don't know what to think of it.
And it's pure indie. It's
pure, I was that person.
It's pure indie though. It's there. It's I've really been appreciating seeing that this year. Just the level of people just having their creative control in their work.
I agree. I'm with you. Yeah, and I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. See, thank you. I said it was good. I think it was really fun. I don't think it pisses on the franchise.
Sally.
I know, Christopher, that some of the writers from the previous ones think it does, don't they?
Yeah, I will not name who that is.
I embarrassed myself defending it in front of them. So I was like, oh no. The bus scene too in that. Wow.
I mean, it had some really great kills. It was like basically Friday 13th, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, and I'm fine with that. I mean, but it had some really good kills. So yeah.
I haven't seen the Menu or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sorry.
Oh, Menu's great.
Both.
Yeah, but I as a filmmaker, I appreciate all the indie horror, even if I don't like it, because that helps me out tremendously when I get my stuff out there. So I'm supportive of it, even though I may not like what I've watched.
There you go. Man, one thing I like is that you brought in so many films from earlier in the year, because that's one of the things I struggle with is holding on to what I like throughout the year. And I look
I've been planning for this whole year has been great. I've been literally planning for the Fango Awards and Rondo Awards. I want to just nominate everything. Everything's so great.
Crazy year. All right. Well, up next, I'm sure this list will be something different, is Dreher.
Hey, my turn. I think my list leans more towards Brian and less towards Jeff. None of my films are ones I'm hoping come out in Spanish anytime soon. So,
oh man,
number 10 is Glorious. Come on, any movie that the fate of the world rests on a hole that people stick their dick through, my kind of movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, they made maximum use of very little. It all takes place in the bathroom. I mean, that's all we need to know, right? Yeah. So that was great. One I didn't expect to be on my list came in late in the game. X. I seen X very late. I have not seen Pearl, but X. It's all Mia Goth. I mean, she's a force of nature. We're going to be talking about her for years and years to come. And I really enjoyed the film, so I'm excited to see Pearl as soon as I get an opportunity to. Number 8, one no one else has mentioned, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Of course, a Stephen King property. Donald Sutherland. It's very true to Stephen King's story. I found it was great. Not a lot of blood, not a lot of visual horror going on here, but I always loved the story, and I think this is a really great adaptation of that story. So I like to see everybody at least give it a shot. Still on Netflix, I believe. Number 7, Orphan: First Kill. Again, another one of those prequels that should not work, but it does. I think Brian said everything there was to say about this one. I've actually watched it a couple times. It's entertaining every time I check it out. So just a real surprise there for, what was it, 10 or 12 years after the original? Something stupid. Yeah, good. Number 6, Troll, also from Netflix. Great movie. I loved it. I think I said everything I had to say on that one when we did the review on it, but fantastic movie. Number 5 is Smile. We're heading into mainstream territory here now. My top 5 are all kind of mainstream stuff. But yeah, Smile, kind of like The Ring with the whole curse, mental, I don't know what you want to call it, but a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Number 4, Prey, another prequel to Predator. Amazing stuff. I think, Jeff, you had this one on your list, I believe. But yeah, Amber Mid-Thunder, fantastic. And then to throw the Predator into that world, it was pretty freaking fantastic. Number 3, The Black Phone. Amazing Mass by the one and only Tom Savini. But also great performances by all involved. I really enjoyed it. I loved the throwback to the 70s aesthetic. I think they pulled it off really well. It was fun to watch. Number 2, Scream 2022, one of the Lego sequels, if you will. And I like how they were able to kind of hand off to a new generation. I think this is a series that's just going to keep on going. Ghostface could go on forever. But I thought it was a very well done movie. I agree with Brian. Those kills in the center, and for me particularly, Dewey's demise, I thought was really well handled. And it was kind of touching and sad, and everything you want it to be. And the number 1 film, the big what the fuck movie for me, was Barbarian. I still watch it and my jaw drops. I had no idea where that movie was going. It just totally shocked and surprised me. And I love it for that. I only got one honorable mention. That's Terrifier 2. Not so much for the film itself, but for what it managed to accomplish. The marketing team, they should be hired for every independent film ever made from this point forward. The movie itself, overly long. I mean, we've all said it, right? Overly long, overly violent, overly, a lot of what was in there didn't need to be on there. Good performances by the dude that plays Art the Clown, and the lady. I'm sorry, I'm not good with names, but our lead lady, both were amazing. But honestly, the marketing team is the winner here in this one. And anybody who financially backed the movie and is now living in much larger homes.
Much larger. Yeah, they did a good job. That's a good list, Dave. Good list.
It's not a bad list. Like I said, not a lot of artsy fartsy shit. So,
I like a guy that knows what he likes. I remember when we reviewed Troll, you went, "This is in my top 10."
Yep. I thought it might be higher though. But I like where it is. I like you put Orphan First Kill in there.
That was a surprise. Well, right? Real surprise.
I should have put Glorious up because I forgot about the whole Lovecraft thing.
Oh,
Well,
there's so much good stuff.
There's good effects in there too. I'm assuming it's a low, modest budget, but there's some really good effects in there.
Well, Glorious feels like a nice companion piece to Stuart Gordon's films to some degree, because it has that level of sort of humor to it and horror, and them being able to pull off what they did with just showing the H.P. Lovecraftian monsters and stuff was really on their budget. Like they're really able to pull off a lot of good stuff, So yeah.
Barbara Crafton's a producer or an executive producer.
Yeah.
Cool.
She is.
She's trying to produce more stuff, so I hope she does that a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's and I didn't get to see a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I missed just because there wasn't enough time to watch it all. So we could do 2022 over again, and I might have 10 completely different movies.
We really could.
I might have a different top 10 tomorrow. It's just like
Right.
I'm gonna catch up on that list. I'm gonna catch up.
All right, Christopher G. Mohr, sir. Now it's getting interesting.
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm just glad this is over with, because I've been I called in sick to work today because of this list. I'm blaming you, Doc. No, let me preface this by saying that 2 films that probably would have been on this list are going to be on my Heroes and Droids list: Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Werewolf the Night, because I rated them very highly. But just to give more room for indie horror and specific horror, mainly horror films, I'm going to leave that to that list. So just letting you know. So if you're like, what? I heard you like Doctor Strange. Yeah, I do. But also I just want to be fair and give more love to other things, because otherwise it would be show up on both lists, and that just would not be fair to anybody. So let me go starting at 10. Nope. I mean, Jordan Peele is one of those guys that sort of has a love for horror, and he comes out with all these different stories, and he has this different approach, and he's created an alien I've never seen before. And I agree with Brian that the eating scene is that was the one thing I couldn't get. I couldn't get out of my head after seeing it, and I saw it twice, and it's just, you know, one of the creepiest things, and it just makes me not want to go outside. So so kudos to that. Number 9, The Menu.
Menu.
I love The Menu. It's I think someone on the internet called it Hell's Kitchen meets Midsommar, and I kind of agree with that. But it had a sense of humor I was not expecting, because they have these titles that come up for the different dishes that it just gets more crazy and weird as it goes along, and it has the craziest ending. You know, and of course it has Anya Taylor-Joy, so you won me at that. But yeah, it's another one of those films that sort of starts somewhere and then it goes this other place, and you're like, what the hell is happening? And it's got amazing performances, amazing cast, so you should definitely check it out. Number 8 is Troll. My biggest problem, and I mentioned this in our review, my biggest problem with kaiju movies is I never care about the people. This is the one time I cared about the people along with the kaiju monster. And I think you know, the US, all the filmmakers that make these kaiju films like King Kong and stuff, watch this film and learn how to do it right, because this does it right from everywhere. And it has amazing CGI with the creation of the effects of the troll. I mean, you always think of troll monsters like in Harry Potter, and these goofy monsters running around, and these are actually they're weird looking, but scary at the same time. And it has a moment that rivals the King Kong scene with the airplanes, and I just so I think this is not a movie you should sleep on. Most people don't even know it dropped on Netflix, so please go watch this because it is really amazing.
Yep, it's a King Kong scene with bells on.
Yeah, with bells. Yeah. Wah, wah.
That joke. We got that joke here.
The next one's Fresh, which
exciting.
This has been a year of films that halfway through it's one film and then it becomes a totally different film, and I love this, and hopefully it's not going to be one of these things where everybody runs that into the ground the next 5 or 6 years. But this starts out almost like a romantic comedy and then goes off into some weird place by the end, and it's got some really great performances in it. It's got some great inclusion of music in it. Yeah, I love that film so much. The next one, this is where I cheated. I've lumped 2 films in the same category because they were similar genres. I put Deadstream and Scare Package 2 because they're horror comedies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Deadstream, it's a found footage Evil Dead film that's funny AF, and I loved every minute of it. They really did a great job of sort of like taking sort of those YouTubers, those people who live stream from places, and adding such a level of humor, but also scariness as well. And I think a lot of these filmmakers like this, the couple that created this, they have that good grasp of both horror and comedy. And Scare Package 2, we don't see too many good parodies of stuff. And this film, not only with its short films, but also its wraparound story, do such a great job of doing parodies of like Saw films and Halloween and slashers, and they call attention to like Final Girls. I mean, they do so many different really fun things in this. That's hilarious. And I love Scare Package 2 even more, and I love the first one a lot. I love it even more than the first. So I'm really I can't wait to watch that again when it drops on Shudder soon. Okay, the next got 5. And I did this again because these are horror action films. I put Prey and Day Shift.
Oh, nice. Very good.
I never thought we could have a good Predator film, let alone a prequel. And this has been the year of prequels actually being just as good as the films that came up before them. And it's got an amazing cast. It's got some amazing fight scenes and choreography and action and a great Predator. And it just makes me hope that they set horror films in different time periods and different areas just to add that freshness. And this definitely had that, especially, and definitely the main actress in that. I think I want to see her in more stuff. I've seen her. She's been actually cast in other things. So she's so amazing in this, especially for somebody who never really had acted before. Day Shift, it's that kind of fun action horror stuff that we don't see as much. And I kind of wish this had come out in theaters. I enjoyed this from beginning to end. It had so many it had a great different variation of vampire, where they can move their arms in different ways because they had these physical performers and stuff. Had a great amount of humor in it, and I would just love to see more films based on the day shift thing, like night shift, mid shift, lunch shift, whatever. Just do it. Number 4 is Moloch. A sort of like folk horror type tale that was told in this different part of the country that had me going on Google trying to find out if this whole thing was real. And it has one of the creepiest endings of any film I've seen in the last year or so. It's told so well. It's got this great linear thing where they're doing one thing and you see like these kids act out this whole scenario. It's got a lot of creepy moments and great performances overall. And and even though it's a different language, it's really great. And I think more people need to see that. So it's on Shudder. Number 3, Barbarian. I saw it 2 times in the theater. Second time was just as fun as the first, especially seeing people respond to it. That also has that element of humor you don't expect, especially with Justin Long. Anytime I see him with a tape measure, it makes me giggle and laugh every time I see that scene. And I think just learning about the process of the making of that and how the guy, he put this in a drawer, this idea, and then he's like, and how people are like, you can't do a movie like that where it kind of shifts, and it has almost like 3 different segments and how it plays out. And it's so masterful. It has some great performances and a great, a great villain that'll make you look at baby bottles differently.
Stop.
Number 2 is Pearl. And anytime you can take a slasher and put it in the artifice of Technicolor, I'm there. And I think Mia Goth, even though I loved her performance in X playing this one, she is amazing. She really deserves all the awards just for that end credit sequence. One of the best end credit sequences in a while, where it's just focused on her, and she just gives her all to this performance in this. And even like the woman who plays her mother was, I think, a stunt person or somebody who worked on X. She wasn't even like a regular actress, and they cast her. She learned German just for that role, and it's just amazing the stuff that people do. Like, I love that film so much. It's got so many, and I don't know, just to know that they shot it back to back. That blows my mind. He's made 2 films in the same year that are amazing. So, and finally on my main list, The Black Phone. If you heard me talk about this, I love this film so much. Based on the Joe Hill short story, which I've read, and how they expanded on that. He worked with C. Robert Cargill, who worked on like previous films. And Scott Derrickson actually put some of his own issues in life into the story, and it feels real. And as somebody that grew up in the 70s as a kid, they really got the production design, the look of that time period, the acting performances. Ethan Hawke is amazing as the main villain, and those kids' performances. There's parts that make you laugh because of the attitude of that little girl. But there's also parts that make you hurt and cry, like the part where she's getting beat by her dad. I mean, I'm getting emotional. Just think about it. The ending gets so emotional. I saw it twice in the theater and I cried both times at the end. This film is masterful, amazing. And it definitely does feel like it's definitely a chip off the old block, with it being the son of Stephen King. So you can see that. Going into my honorable mentions, The Passenger, which I thought had, like I mentioned before, had some great cinematography. Mad God, which is just this film that's taken him 10 or so years to make, even though it's weird visually, it's just amazing to look at. The Curse, I liked how they sort of take a certain legendary type thing and they put their own spin on it. Satan Slaves Communion has the most creepiest, scariest moments shot. because there's that still kind of creep me out, Smile, a simple concept that has some of the best jump scares of this year. Even though when you know it's coming, like when she's listening to that audio stuff. I put X in this, even though I didn't lump it with Pearl. I loved how Ty West did his little Technicolor thing with Pearl, and then this one he just sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but then it goes somewhere weird by the end. My only issue with that was just the old lady makeup just didn't work for me. It took me out of it every time I saw that. Even though her performance is great, just the makeup just looked fake to me, and that was my biggest issue with that. The sadness, even though it's rough to watch and it goes places, it has the cojones to sort of do stuff that I think American filmmakers probably wouldn't be able to do. But it's like, oh crap, it just so crazy. Orphan First Kill. Nice. This is what I wish Malignant was to me, but this is this is very pulpy B movie, and it goes places you don't expect, and the twist of it, and I was like, whoa, this is not where I was going. And also it's got some really cool shots in it as well. So Scream, again, I think the people who did Ready or Not came in and sort of, took their love for this franchise and injected some new fun into it, even was a love letter to Wes Craven as well. And it kind of makes me kind of excited to see where it goes after this. So kudos to them. And also, I just want to mention Torn Hearts. I never thought I never thought I would be championing a movie about country music, but the performances are so great, and it goes some places you don't expect, and ended up being a really really enjoyable film. So yeah, those are my picks.
I'm so glad you included Torn Hearts. That was a great. Yeah, I forgot
Katie
about that.
Sagal was amazing in that.
Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing in that.
Great list. How did I know the Black Phone would be at number 1? I don't know.
It's obvious. I kept thinking, for a while there, Pearl was bumping its head against it because I just loved Pearl so much. But Black Phone just hit me in that right spot. So
you mentioned end credit scenes. I wish I'd have put Wounded Fawn at least on my list because the end credits of that one. Oh my god!
I was trying to watch it before we did this because I met one of the co-writers of it at the New York City Horror Film Festival, and I just didn't have time. So, I'm definitely gonna watch it soon.
Okay, I know it's not. I know everyone's not gonna. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Everyone's not gonna like it because we definitely had differing opinions on it on Gruesome. But if you like it, I mean, I love that movie. Like I think that creature was so. It's a good one. You gotta see it. It's crazy. I dig it. Sorry, I totally took that over. Sorry.
You're good.
All right, you ready for my list? This is probably going to be the most predictable of the batch. Except for the first one, number 10. I don't think you guys are ready for this, but number 10 is Feed Me.
Oh, I loved Feed Me though.
And it's all because I know that Christopher did not like Feed Me, but
I know the filmmakers let me know about
that. I figured you put that in there just to poke Chris.
No. Did.
I loved it because of the performances of our two leads.
Yeah.
And,
it is
just
it
how and it took a couple twists. I like it. It was fun, but it's kind of the oddball in my batch. You'll see when you start hearing the rest of them. All right, number 9 is VHS 99.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's found footage. Come on, it's me.
Yeah.
And there is a tie to one of my other films, so I may have just given that away later in the list. Number 8 is The Black Phone,
nice.
Which is a solid original entry into our horror film. So yay. At number, what am I at? 7? Yeah. 7. I didn't put numbers, so I'm screwed. It's Nope. And the eating scene, but I don't know, the whole chase scene at the end, where it reveals itself in a whole bunch of different ways, was just jaw dropping. It was so amazing to watch, and the characters were great. I love the leads. Even the weird side story we get with the chimp show, whatever that was. It was so weird. But though yeah, I thought that was amazing. At number 6 is Barbarian, which is definitely everything everybody on the show has said about it. It is it definitely, if you go in blind, don't know anything about it, because it'll take you places you are not expecting, and it's a lot of fun and gory and awful and maybe a little real gross in spots, right, Christopher?
Oh yeah.
At number 4 is the one smushed together that I have pairing is Pearl and X. I love both of these films equally. Mia Goth is definitely someone we're going to be talking about for ages. She has a Cronenberg film coming up, not David, but his son, right? Coming up next year. We'll be talking about that one, I'm certain. And then was it Maxine with 3 X's they're going to go back into? So there's definitely more Mia Goth in our future, and everything about these films is her. Although the X has a lot of other roles in it too that are strong. Pearl is primarily, Mia Goth takes the whole thing, and the cinematography, the whole Technicolor thing, like when they open the barn and it looks just like Wizard of Oz. It's really awesome. And then that last, like you said, the closing credits. Wow. Number 3, The Little Film That Could. This film, I was looking forward to it, but I didn't know if it would do real well, but it slayed, and that Smile. And I had a great time with it. It made me jump. It was thrilling, and I liked it. What can I say? At number 2, Terrifier 2. I'm sure nobody's real surprised by that. I love Terrifier 2. I really like what they did with the mythology in it, and they brought in the little girl Terrifier thing, and it may have been a little long and stretched, outstayed his welcome, but at the same time, I loved it. It's gory, funny, great. That bed scene, right? At number 1, Deadstream.
Yeah,
nice.
Deadstream at number 1.
I love it.
And it's just, I love found footage, and this film literally surprised me. I went into it thinking, oh, this, I'm going to get beat up because I'm putting a found footage film. It's not going to be good. No, it was good. And the surprise performances, and I've already forgotten her name. Brian, you mentioned her name.
Melanie Stone.
Right. And
she's VHS 99 too. So
yep,
she's in,
yep.
yeah.
And she stands out in both of them. Of course, she works with and the directors are in both of them too. Well, actually, they are in both of them, but they also directed them. And it was just such a surprise. Even though the character is really hella annoying at first, by the end of it, you're all about it, and it just it was like a fun house, and it was great. And fun house, man. It was okay. I'll shut up. My honorable mentions could be like incredibly long, and you mentioned a whole bunch of them that I would easily put into my honorable mentions, and also I could take all these lists and throw them up in the air, and they could drop down in any order, and I probably would be okay going with it. There's so many good films this year, and some that I don't even have on my list. That come to mind, but some honorable mentions are The Menu, which is it's all based on the performances of our leads. Troll, which is one of the best kaiju films. That one fought to be instead of a couple of the films on there. It was in there, and then it was out of there, and it was in there, and at the end I went different. But Werewolf by Night, I put in my honorable mentions. Prey, Run, Sweetheart, Run.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. That was quite the surprise. Scream, 2022. I have in there. The Sadness. These are a lot of these. All sound familiar, right? And then Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
I still want to see that.
Because. Except for Dave and his colors, but it was just the whole Terminator thing and the gore and it's just great. It's just great.
I love Joe Bagos.
What happened to?
I know I would like it.
I must have dropped it off my honorable mentions, but I had Violent Night moving around on my list for a while too.
Okay, so same like Christopher, I have a couple films that I could include here that went over to the other list, and Violent Night went that way. Violent Night could easily be on this list, but I put it in the
one I still need to see.
It's so much fun, so much fun. It's more action, it's more die-hardish than horror, but it is gory. So I wouldn't fault anybody for wanting to put in their top 10 horror films. There you go. That's
well, yeah, we're all quite like,
that's it. That's our list. That's my goodness. What Dave, your list. We're going to talk. Jeff, you're going to get me some stats on this, aren't you?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Since you put numbers on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to put numbers, and everybody else has got to put theirs in there. So in my list, I can get it on.
Well, I typed them all down. I also
Excellent.
didn't look too obvious. So.
No.
no.
I didn't know you were doing it all. But it was a great list, a great year. So many films, so many great films, so many great additions. It was a great year for horror. And 2023 looks like it's going to be very similar. They're already we're going to be doing our most anticipated in a week or two, and it's a huge amount of films that we already know about. It's going to be insane. We got another Scream film coming. We got
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, we even got a Haunted Mansion film to get it on the other side of things, and all kinds of
Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead
Oh
Rise.
my God, yeah.
A remake of The Exorcist, Saw 10.
Socks.
Socks. It's socks. Oh my God, I wish I hadn't done that. All right. But we'd love to hear what you think of our list. We'd love to see what your list is. You can put them down in the comments. We hope you enjoyed our list. And if you did, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend.
Yes.
And every little click helps. And every little click will get us closer to our goal of 5,000 subscribers. And only
Yes.
you can help us do that.
And see all those movies. There's a lot of movies out there.
There's so many movies I haven't seen yet. And when half of them are 3 hours long, what do you do? Like God, like Avatar and then Babylon.
Did you? I got to ask Dave though. Did you see Bloody Christmas, Dave?
I have not. It is on my list to watch, but I have not watched it yet.
I will be interested to see if you.
My screener decided to poop on me, so
it's actually on. It's actually on Shudder now.
It's on
Shudder now.
now?
Yeah, it's actually on Shudder now, so you don't have to worry about those crappy screeners sometimes.
They're not crappy. All right, there you go, Christopher, Crystal, Brian, Jeff, Dave. Thank you for joining me for this special edition of Horror News Radio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
It's always fun.
Yep.
All right, maybe we'll see you all back again for the most anticipated.
Hopefully.
Yes.
We'll leave you anticipating that.
I might still be watching 2022 films.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
That was like,
I'm gonna watch this Troll movie. I gotta hit.
you gotta watch.
Yeah, go watch that.
Oh,
It's
Troll's
really
good.
bad.
Troll's a good one. Yeah, put that high on the list.
All right.
All right. Well, there you go. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.